Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure. Okay, there we go. So if it seems like I'm playing a little drunk here, it's because my TV keeps going out. Won't have any of that for the rest of the episode, though. Anyway. Sonic! Come on. You know better than that. Final Egg is a really interesting stage. It's actually, like, really minimal on extra paths. Much like Lost World was, actually. Lost World only had that alternate path during the mirror segment. And, it's just... yeah. I don't think I'm going to do a good job of capturing what it's about, but, well, I can certainly talk about it, and, you know, give you some direction on it, at least. So without further ado... So, this opening bit, which runs at about 3 minutes long, I would say is full of wasted potential. For instance, also nothing at the beginning that's hidden. So, you see these laser traps? You can disable them by hitting the floaty, whitey, silvery thing. And I think that's a really neat idea, that you either have to avoid it or disable it by going off to the side. And it's not hard to think of a situation where you would have multiple parallel paths, and, you know, one path would have to pass through the laser traps, and another path would give you the option to disable the laser traps. And, you know, one could be off to the side or something like that. But it just never happens. But, well, partially that's because this stage really isn't about parallel paths or alternate paths. What this stage does, though, it answers a question that I feel like a lot of the other stages ask. So oftentimes you'll have a side niche with, you know, a few ring boxes, you know, maybe one or two, and then you'll be right back on the main path in a few seconds. Well, this stage takes that idea and just blows it way out of proportion, goes friggin' crazy. Like, you might assume your first time playing, oh, this is an alternate path, I fell, and so I get a part that's a lot harder, I have to deal with more conveyor belts. And so, by conventional thinking, that makes sense, but what this actually turns out to be is just one massive side niche that you can just totally... that is just a total waste of time unless you're looking for rings. It concludes in a spring that takes you back to the very beginning of the room, meaning if you keep falling down onto this path, you'll loop on yourself. You eventually have to conquer the top path. And it's a really interesting section, too. It has a very interesting use of those treadmills. Having to leap from one treadmill to the next is just interesting in and of itself. It's a way of making moving platforms where you don't have to wait, but you still get, you know, Sonic's still moving, you still get the stress of something that's eventually going to send you into a bottomless pit. But yeah, when we see those in the rest of the stage, they won't be used very interestingly, they'll be kind of subtle. And, yeah, this room looks nice. You also don't see these spinning drums anywhere else in the stage, but I don't know. They're kind of neat, but, well, they're also sort of awkward to traverse. While other portions of the stage certainly answer the question of, you know, what if we take the niches and just really focus on them? The optional side niches with rings. This section has a few obligatory parts where, you know, there's an extra life coming up right here. And there's a few extra ring boxes that'll come right at the end. This section is mostly straightforward, no real messing around on the side. And it really cracks down on moving platforms, just moving things in general. It creates a really nice sense of tight platforming. There's a little bit of waiting going on. But in general, I think it's nice. You don't get tight platforming like this in Sonic Adventure a whole lot. And it fits as what it fits about as well for a final stage as, you know, anything else would. I do think, however, that this part is kind of diluted by camera. Come on. It's kind of diluted by these sections. These come a little too often, and they're a little too long, and I like messing with the scripting, by the way. This is kind of funny. Anyway, these sections are just too long. They take your focus off of the tight platforming. So, you know, just when a section is building up speed, or just when a section is getting intense, it's broken up by that. I think this stage could really... Wait a minute. Did you see those ring boxes down there? Why did I die? I'm gonna get those. They can't just be there for no reason. Alright, so last time the camera screwed me up. Let's switch it to free camera so I can see what's actually going on. Alright, I got my eye on those ring boxes. And he died? That's... okay, whatever. I got the ring boxes, I'm happy. Anyway. So this has a regular rhythm of, you take those tubes down, and then you take a strip platforming section up. And at least in terms of atmosphere, it works. You get a sort of a factory feeling where in the center there's a lot of moving parts, and you have to sort of slip between them. You know, Sonic might lose a limb if, you know, he doesn't follow guidelines. And then there's those tubes off on the side, which might be like air ducts or something like that. So it is successful in that regard. And what's this over here? This might... oh, it looks like we got... wait a minute. I got 2 ring boxes earlier. 2 of these ring boxes are missing. Yeah. So it loaded part of the level, but not like the wall geometry, or the wall boundaries. Anyway, I was trying to do a little metagaming there by getting Tails to hit the ring boxes for me, but it didn't work so much. By the way, Tails is here because I had to record this about 1,000,000 times. So, yeah. Tails always appears after the first time you play a stage, even if he didn't appear initially. So, this part of the stage fits in just barely with the rest of the stage in that it's got a lot of moving parts. The level gimmicks have a very factory feel to them. In all, it rounds out the stage. I guess it provides a nice comparison to the rest of the parts. Contrast. Whatever. So this third part of the stage has even less platforming than the previous part, and so as a result there's going to be even more safe ground to traverse. And yeah, there's going to be plenty of pickups, as you can see right away. So that's the general trend of the stage, is that each subsequent section gives you more space just to walk around. There's no difficult platforming. Even if the platforming might be more difficult, as it will be in this section with the fans, there's going to be less of it you're doing in each subsequent section. And, ooh. I'm gonna kill all these guys. This is gonna be so great. I'm gonna... what? What did I just... what? Oh. Yeah. Using the lightspeed attack is always an adventure in Sonic Adventure TN. Well, at least we know that there's there are ring boxes up there. And so this is kind of what I'm talking about, in that, well, okay, I will admit that this platforming is more difficult than it is to jump between treadmills, but unlike the treadmills, if I fall here, there's no bottomless pit. I just fall back with those, like, factory worker bomb guys. The mecha dodongos, as I'm going to call them. I also don't know how I didn't get hit there, but whatever. So this section has, like, a room with the blow-up guys, the mecha dodongos, and then it has a section with fans, and then a section with mecha dodongos, and so on and so forth. And what's interesting about this fan section is that it's the hardest of them all, and it's the only one with like items off to the side that you can get. And, we definitely need free camera for this part because, wow, it is impossible to see around otherwise. I say this is the most difficult fan section because you've got to make a turn in the middle of it, and it's already hard enough to deal with Sonic bobbing up and down, so it's really best to take that slowly and wait. Anyway. Yeah, that hill, like, that curve upward always pushes me off to the side, even though, like, I think you're supposed to hit those springs, land on that platform, and then jump to over here. But yeah, and speed shoes. You'll also notice that this section has the return of treadmills, but used to no effect. Like, the treadmills will push you, like, if you just stand still on the treadmills, you'll fall onto a fan, and then you're perfectly safe. Also, alright, this is satisfying. So yeah. I don't understand why they use the treadmills the way they do, it's pointless, and I don't understand why they give you so many friggin' speed shoes, when, like, even without the exploration, the platforming is a little tight here. It's just hard to run through any part of this stage, and so that is totally why I skipped those speed shoes on purpose. So what's coming up here is a very important part of the stage. I want you all to be taking notes at this point. Yeah, you can jump up here. For what seems like forever, I thought you had to go down in the hole below, but no, there's actually a spare path. This is very notable because, like, this is the only alternate path in the entire stage, and as you're about to see, it is super amazing. It's like, right before the end of the game, they went all out, just had like the coolest alternate path ever, including a camera that screws you up and gets rid of your lightning shield in a totally stupid way. But, you know what? For our efforts, we get, that was 40 rings, I'm gonna estimate that that was about another 40. So maybe something like 100 rings in this room alone. So, I don't know, I really like this. Like, it's the only alternate path in the entire stage. But it still fits in with the rest of the stage in that you explore, you find extra items, and it also just feels really special because it's the very last stage in the game. It's hard to find, even. And you get tons of rewards for it. And it even works as far as alternate paths go, because as we're about to see, yes, the normal path is just another falling bit with the, you know, same spike balls and stuff, except instead of, yeah, this pit is bottomless, so you don't want to do the same thing here. And even this path has like stuff off to the side that you can grab. One thing I do like about this stage is that when you want to explore some stages, you know, the free camera ain't always the best option, but it certainly is here. But you also always need the auto camera, because certainly there are some portions where you need guidance. You can't be controlling the camera at all times. It's just not feasible. Anyway, from this room, there's a big set of doors, and we got the final part up ahead, so I'm gonna cut off right here. Okay, I will cut off in a few seconds. The stage doesn't stop to load at this point, but there's definitely a change in graphics. Like, look how dark it is. It looks like we're reaching the underbelly of the factory. And there's certainly a big change in design. If you stick to the main path, there's absolutely no platforming aside from a lightspeed dash at the very end, and honestly, there's no way to screw up lightspeed dashes. But if you explore, there's a lot of, well, there's some decent amount of platforming, and I'm glad we did explore, because look at this pretty picture we got. See, it turned out to be a good thing that we got hit by that Sonic got... Yeah, it wasn't us that got hit by a spike ball, it was just Sonic. Jeez. Anyway, if we still had that lightning shield, we would have messed up that pretty picture, so... Anyway. You know, I said those laser traps towards the beginning were interesting, and I, you know, lamented that they didn't stick around more, but what's more interesting is the camera. And what's still more interesting are these guys that trap you. They actually make a return in Sonic Heroes, kinda, sorta, if you bend the truth a little. Anyway, so they send their heads out, and if the head catches you, then you're trapped, and when the main body chases after the head, if the main body hits you, you lose rings. I'm going to very purposely demo that towards the end of this video. And that's, I don't know, that's pretty interesting for a Sonic Adventure enemy, where, you know, it's a game that spams those blue bladey enemies. Oh, game that spams those blue bladey enemies the entire time. So, while I said that the platforming gets, you know, there's less and less platforming in each section, this section also involves the hardest platforming, it's just that it's all optional. So I think that's really neat, that the final and hardest test of Sonic Adventure platforming, you know, it's this room where you gotta do a ton of awkward and weird jumps where you need to exercise an absurd amount of flexibility with this engine. And it's an engine that allows for flexibility. Is this totally optional side explory part. Number one, it fits with the stage's theme, because, I mean, a big part of the stage is optional, you know, side niches full of rings. And, you know, even beyond that, it's just sort of weird that the final test of a game is totally optional, and that, you know, it basically asks you to do... I mean... like, the things I do with the spin dash, you would consider metagaming, and not something that, like, the main game would ask you to do. So those are both two really interesting things about this part, I feel. Oh, there was Tails Doll. I thought Tails Doll didn't appear in this game, but I guess he did, along with Sonic and Knuckles dolls. Anyway, I did say that that was the final test of the game's platforming, but, well, actually, I want to clear out this guy before I show this off, because, wait, I already told you what happened. Yeah. Anyway, I wonder what's up there. If only... Ah, yes, here we go. Ah, okay. Keep an eye on the timer, because it's moving very, very fast. I have to thank KG Dragon, I want to say. I'm sorry, I forget his YouTube name. I'll link it in the video description. Also, that came out better than I expected. I had to look up how to get up here. I honestly thought, like, is this an area that they made and then just never gave you access to? But no, it just turns out you have to wait forever for that one platform to go down. And yeah, you play with the camera all you like. You're never gonna see where you have to jump here. You just gotta sort of, hope. And for all your effort, you get extra lives? Come on, why couldn't these have been ring boxes? That would have been so much more useful. Well, I guess it is nice to ensure that, well, it is nice that these are pointless because, well, then you don't have to wait around for that stupid platform. Anyway. That's it for, this stage. Man, that was a lot to get through. This is a very weird final stage. Dang it, Sonic. Has one alternate path. It gets easier as it goes along. The final test of platforming in the game is a really awkward section that's not even required.
Hey, pump it up!
Yeah, I know I missed level A, Sonic. I was trying to show off it. I'll get it as Metal Sonic anyway. And you know what? In general, that's what I like about Sonic Adventure. It's not afraid to be weird for the sake of doing something different, being expressive. I feel like there is something meaningful to having the final stage get easier as it goes along. And that's certainly not, original to Sonic Adventure. Metroid games love doing that, for instance. Sonic Adventure wasn't the first game to do it. Won't be the last. Anyway. Friggin'. Alright, so. We got the Metal Sonic version of the stage. And we got the final boss fight. And that's it for the LP. So. What is it that Sonic says in the Sonic Chaos Manual? Something like, gotta slide? Yeah, gotta slide, Clyde.